in the heart of a sleepy suburban town in the American Midwest, on a sweltering summer day in 2024. Pregnant black woman Amelia Cole becomes the target of a racist cop's aggression, sparking a fierce act of self-defense that uncovers a web of corruption and unleashes a battle for justice. Amelia Cole stepped out of the community health clinic with a careful grace, her hand cradling the swell of her 7-month pregnancy, the other clutching a paper bag filled with prenatal vitamins. The sun beat down on the manicured lawns of Willow Creek, a neighborhood where picket fences gleamed white and mailboxes stood like sentinels of suburban perfection. She had walked this path countless times, from the modest clinic on the town's edge to her small home a few blocks away, but today felt different, heavier, as if the air itself carried an unspoken warning. At 32 years old, Amelia was no stranger to the subtle undercurrents of prejudice in this predominantly white enclave, but she had learned to navigate them with quiet determination, her FBI training from years ago sharpening her instincts even. As she embraced civilian life, she adjusted the strap of her tote bag, feeling the baby kick softly, a reminder of the future she was fiercely protecting. As she crossed into the wealthier side of the street, where homes boasted 3-car garages and perfectly trimmed hedges, a police cruiser glided silently to the curb, its engine purring like a predator sizing up prey. Sergeant Ryan Caldwell emerged from the vehicle, his uniform crisp, his stance broad and imposing. A man who wore his badge like a crown of unchecked authority. His eyes, hidden behind mirrored sunglasses, scanned her with a dismissive flick, measuring her presence as an intrusion. No siren wailed, no lights flashed, just a cold, calculated approach that set Amelia's nerves on edge. "Afternoon," he drawled, his voice laced with feigned politeness that barely masked the condescension. "Got a report of a pregnant black woman leaving the clinic with suspicious items. Pills have been going missing lately." Amelia held the bag out openly, her receipt fluttering in the breeze. "These are prenatal vitamins, officer. Here's the proof." But Caldwell didn't glance at the paper. Instead, his gaze lingered on her belly, then drifted to the surrounding houses as if gauging potential witnesses. "Folks around here value their safety," he said, stepping closer, his shadow falling over her. "You understand familiar faces, not outsiders stirring trouble." The words stung, but Amelia kept her composure, drawing on the discipline from her undercover days. "I'm walking home from a public clinic. I belong here as much as anyone." Caldwell's lip curled into a sneer. "Carrying a kid you probably can't afford, just like the rest. Hand over the bag and ID." 2 doors down, a middle-aged white woman named Ruth emerged on her porch, phone in hand, filming the scene with trembling fingers. Across the street, a young man, Liam, leaned against his mailbox, watching with a mix of curiosity and unease. Amelia complied partially, passing the bag, but refusing a full search. "Run my ID if you must, but I'm not consenting to more." Caldwell snatched the vitamins, shaking the bottle roughly, pills rattling like accusations. He tossed it back carelessly, the cap cracking open, contents spilling onto the grass. "License now," he barked, invading her space further. Ruth's voice cut through the tension. "Officer, she's pregnant, leave her alone. I'm recording this." Caldwell shot her a glare. "Put it down, ma'am, or you're next for obstruction." Liam chuckled nervously. "Better listen. He's just doing his job." "But," Ruth held firm, "his job isn't harassment." Caldwell turned back to Amelia, frustration boiling over. "Hands on the fence. Turn around." Amelia stood her ground. "No, you have no cause." He grabbed her wrist, twisting just enough to assert dominance, his breath hot against her face. "Out here, I decide what's cause. You match the profile theft. Resale, out of place." She felt the heat of anger rise, but channeled it into calm resistance. What I match is a stereotype, not a crime. With a grunt, he yanked the bag from her, dumping the rest onto the lawn, his boot grinding the receipt into the dirt. Littering now. Pick it up. The block seemed to hold its breath. A dog barked in the distance. A garage door rumbled shut suburbia, retreating into willful ignorance. Amanda's eyes met Ruth's, then Liam's, silently pleading for intervention. But only Ruth spoke up again. "Sergeant Caldwell, this is on video every bit." He lunged closer to Amanda, his free hand raising the butt of his service pistol, driving it into her shoulder with a thud that sent pain radiating down her arm. The world sharpened in that instant. Fear for her unborn child ignited her instincts. Exhaling sharply, she shifted her weight, pivoting on her heel to deliver a precise kick to his face. The impact cracked through the air, his head snapping. Back cap flying as he crumpled to the pavement, blood trickling from his nose. For a frozen moment, the street was silent. Ruth gasped, her phone steady. "Oh God." Liam's jaw dropped. What just happened? Amanda didn't advance. She stood protectively, hand over her belly, breathing through the ache. "Do not reach for that gun," she warned, voice leveled despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. Caldwell groaned, fumbling for his radio, his thumb slipping twice. Before connecting, Unit 4 officer down. Assaulted, send backup. The radio crackled, but as he spoke, Amanda noticed the streetlight camera flickering off, its red light dying. Ruth spotted it too. The cameras, they just went dark. Amanda kept her focus on Caldwell. "Stay recording, Ruth. Don't stop." Caldwell spat blood, rage contorting his features. "You think you can walk away from this? I'll bury you." Amanda gathered her scattered vitamins, never turning her back. "I live here, and I'm leaving." She walked away measuredly, each step a defiance, pausing only to press a hand to her throbbing shoulder. Behind her, Caldwell roared threats, but she didn't look back. The siren wailed in the distance, too late to alter the narrative already unfolding. Ruth uploaded her video to the cloud, sending copies to trusted contacts, her hands shaking but resolute. As Amanda rounded the corner, a dark sedan idled nearby, its tinted windows hiding observers who noted the chaos before driving off. That night, the quiet of Amanda's home was shattered at 2 a.m. with the faint click of a latch giving way. Her eyes snapped open, heart pounding as shadows moved through the kitchen. "Who's there?" she called, sharp and unafraid. Caldwell stepped into the light, reeking of liquor and vengeance, his uniform discarded for civilian clothes. "You humiliated me today. Can't let that stand." Amanda rose, positioning herself defensively. "Leave now, or lose everything." He lunged, forearms slamming into her collarbone, pinning her against the wall, hand clamping her throat. Pain flared. But her training kicked in. She seized his wrist, twisted, dropping low to flip him against the counter. He broke free, drawing a serrated knife, blade glinting toward her belly. "You won't testify." Amanda sidestepped, deflecting the strike, plaster raining from the ceiling. She kicked at his hand, but he slashed her sleeve, grazing her skin. Tripping on the rug, she fell, and he loomed over her. Last breath, the kitchen. Door burst open, knife and right. Her husband, broad-shouldered and fierce, clamped Caldwell's wrist, disarming him. "Get off her." Recognition dawned on Caldwell. The husband shows up. Ethan shoved him back. Trespassing and attempted murder, that's life. They grappled, Ethan dodging a punch, slamming Caldwell into the fridge. Amanda scrambled up, kicking. The knife away. Caldwell pulled a baton, snapping it open, but Ethan countered with an elbow to the jaw. In the scuffle, Caldwell's sleeve rode up, revealing a tattoo, a coiled serpent around a gavel. Amanda Frozette matched files from her old FBI cases, a mark of a secret fraternity within law enforcement tied to buried brutality. Ethan looked at them. Caldwell jerked his arm down. "You don't know what you're seeing." Amanda's voice hardened. "I know exactly. Who are you?" Kay backed toward the door. "This goes deeper than you think." Then he fled into the night. The silence after was heavy. Ethan locked the door, turning to Amanda. "We can't hide anymore. Our cover's blown." They weren't just an ordinary couple. They were undercover FBI agents embedded to monitor corruption. By morning, Amanda sat in Dr. Laura Hayes' exam room, the air thick with unspoken dread. Hayes, in her late 50s, closed the blinds. "Your baby's fine, but given what you're carrying beyond the charts, ... Amanda pressed. "Tell me the truth." Hayes revealed rumors of a network targeting Black pregnant women and custody miscarriages mislabeled, files altered. "I've seen officers lingering outside, pharma reps pushing partnerships." "It's erasure." Amanda's resolve deepened. "Why me?" Hayes touched her shoulder. "You carry yourself like someone ready for the fire." That was the last anyone saw Hayes alive. Her car crashed the next day. Brakes failed, ruled an accident. No autopsy. Ethan found an envelope in her office. Records of deceased Black mothers, each stamped with the serpent gavel symbol. "It's medical now," Amanda whispered. They traced it to courthouse archives, where a mute archivist with scarred vocal cords handed over brittle files, defensive wounds ignored, deaths rewritten. A threatening text arrived: "Stop or join them." Coordinates led to an abandoned mill where Michael Ramirez, a disgraced FBI agent, warned of a eugenics cult funded by pharma, testing on inmates. "My wife died like this. They're coming for you tonight." They prepped the house. Lights dimmed, sensors active. Intruders breached 3 front, 1 back. Ethan ambushed from above, and Michael fired beanbag rounds. Caldwell led, sneering threats. Amanda charged, protecting her belly, swinging a cast iron pan to his temple. A flash grenade blinded them. She fought through, stabbing an attacker's thigh. They subdued the men, but Caldwell rasped, "This isn't over." Sirens approached their call for backup. But Caldwell was released by morning, cleared, flanked by Senator William Hargrove at a press conference. Lip reading revealed. Test batches rolling next week. Amanda infiltrated Blackwell Pharmaceuticals, cloning access, downloading contracts for prenatal trials on incarcerated women, demographics optimized for control. She escaped narrowly, discovering Celeste Vaughn's signature. Confronting Vaughn in her mansion, Amanda learned the betrayal. "I signed for survival, to control the fire." Vaughn warned of an implosion if exposed. Amanda left, rage curdling into determination. They sought Janelle Price, Blackwell's compliance VP, at her church choir. Janelle revealed her sister's death, agreeing to help under protection. Pointing to Vault Delta, federal warrants issued, but an attack in the garage black truck. Auxiliary unit, tag confirmed, panic. At Vault Delta, they breached, downloading data amid an ambush. Michael took a bullet for Amanda, dying with "Finish it." Marshals arrived, sealing evidence. Brooks was arrested, confessing to Langford and Caldwell's orders. Grand jury indicted. Arrests followed. Vaughn fleeing, Caldwell in a motel, Langford in a meeting. Protests erupted. Justice awakening. Motions hearing suppressed defenses. Trials split. Caldwell was convicted of assault, rights violations, sentencings. Caldwell, 28 years, Vaughn, 35. Hargrove, 22, Langford, 18. Brooks, 12, Blackwell under. Oversight, restitution funds established. Consent decree banned chokeholds, mandated cameras. Hayes Center opened. Amanda gave birth to her son Miguel, symbolizing hope. The fight continued. Systems rebuilding in the dim glow of their makeshift safe house on the outskirts of Willow Creek. Amanda Cole and Ethan Wright pored over the scattered files recovered from Dr. Laura Hayes' hidden envelope, the air thick, with the scent of stale coffee and unresolved tension. The documents painted a grim picture. Dozens of black women, all pregnant, all incarcerated for minor offenses. Their deaths neatly categorized as complications in official reports, but the underlying notes hinted at something far more sinister: forced medical trials disguised as routine care. Amanda's fingers traced the serpent gavel tattoo symbol stamped faintly on each page, a mark she recognized from her FBI days as the insignia of a shadowy brotherhood infiltrating law enforcement, now apparently extending its reach into pharmaceutical experimentation. "This isn't just brutality," she murmured, her voice steady despite the exhaustion etching lines around her eyes. "It's engineered elimination, targeted and profitable." Ethan nodded, his broad frame hunched over a laptop as he cross-referenced names with prison intake logs. "Look here, every victim was funneled through Ridgepoint Correctional. And the pharma partner is Blackwell, the same company Hayes mentioned. We need to dig into their funding trails." Their investigation began quietly, starting with public records at the county courthouse, where an elderly clerk with a knowing glance slipped them unredacted autopsy reports under the table. The files revealed inconsistencies, bruises dismissed as self-inflicted, toxicology screens omitted, and vital signs that suggested induced cardiac events rather than natural miscarriages. One name stood out: Clarissa Bell, arrested for a traffic violation, healthy at intake, dead within weeks from placental abruption. Yet her family had reported seeing restraint marks during the viewing. Amanda felt a chill. Clarissa's story mirrored to many others, a pattern of selective vulnerability exploited under the guise of incarceration. "We can't go public yet," Ethan cautioned as they left the building, dodging a suspicious patrol car circling the lot. "They'll bury us in denials." "We need insiders." That led them to a late-night meeting in a rundown diner off Highway 47, where a former Blackwell lab tech, jittery and chain-smoking, agreed to talk anonymously. "They call it Project Sentinel," he whispered, sliding a USB drive across the table. "Prenatal supplements laced with experimental compounds to test fetal resilience, but only on higher-risk groups. Read: poor, black, no family lawyers. If it goes wrong, they blame the mother's lifestyle." The drive contained emails outlining dose escalations and outcome metrics, with success measured not in lives saved, but in data points for patent filings. Amanda's stomach turned as she read one memo: "Demographic control ensures statistical purity minimize variables like socioeconomic support." Ethan clenched his fist. "This is eugenics wrapped in corporate jargon. Who's approving this?" The trail pointed upward to Senator William Hargrove, whose Safe Mothers initiative had funneled millions to Blackwell, while quietly amending state laws to allow voluntary trials in prisons. Posing as journalists, Amanda and Ethan attended a fundraiser in Hargrove's honor at a lavish country club, blending into the crowd of donors and lobbyists. Overheard conversations revealed ties. Hargrove shaking hands with Blackwell CEO, Celeste Vaughn, murmuring about expanding the sample pool. Amanda slipped away to eavesdrop on a private balcony chat. Recording Vaughn's voice, the fraternity handles the logistics: quiet arrests, compliant wardens. Profits soar if we hit Phase 3. Back home, they analyzed the audio, confirming the serpent gavel link. The fraternity wasn't just cops, it was a network bridging badges, boardrooms, and ballots. Danger escalated when a brick shattered their window that night, wrapped in a note: "Drop it, or the baby drops." Ethan fortified the house with motion sensors and hidden cameras, but Amanda refused to back down. "We owe it to those women," she said, her hand on her belly as the child kicked in agreement. Their next move was to infiltrate the point itself. Ethan using old contacts to pose as a maintenance contractor while Amanda reviewed visitor logs remotely. Inside, Ethan discovered isolation cells repurposed as medical observation rooms, equipped with 4 stands and unmarked vials. He snapped photos of logs showing nightly pharma deliveries, guards turning BAIs for bonuses. One guard, overhearing. His questions cornered him in a hallway. "You poking around. Bad idea. The last guy who did ended up in the river." Ethan escaped narrowly, a scuffle leaving him bruised but with a stolen vial labeled Batch 7C Sentinel Protocol. Lab analysis, done through a trusted underground contact, revealed the vial's contents: a synthetic hormone designed to induce stress responses in fetuses, masked as a vitamin booster. This could cause anything from preterm labor to organ failure. The analyst reported, and it's not FDA-approved black market trials. The revelation fueled their push toward Vault Delta. The off-site data bunker Janelle Price had tipped them about during her choir meeting confession. Janelle, haunted by her sister's fate, provided a cloned keycard, but warned they're watching everyone. One wrong move, and we're all ghosts. Under the cover of a stormy night, Amanda, Ethan, and a reluctant Michael Ramirez, the disgraced agent who'd lost his wife to similar experiments, approached the bunker. A fortified warehouse disguised as a storage facility, breaching the perimeter required precision. Ethan disabled the outer alarms with a hacked EMP device, while Michael scoped for patrols. Inside, the air hummed with server fans, rows of drives glowing like eyes in the dark. Janelle's instructions led to the central console, where Amanda initiated a download of encrypted files, trial results, payout schedules, and fraternity member lists, including Caldwell and Chief Langford. But alarms blared midway. Reinforcements arrived, led by Lieutenant Thomas Brooks, a fraternity enforcer with a grudge. "You shouldn't have come sniffing," he snarled, drawing his weapon. Chaos erupted. Ethan tackled one guard, disarming him with a chokehold. Michael fired suppressing shots, taking cover behind a rack. Amanda, protecting her pregnancy, used the environment, toppling a shelf to block a flank, then striking an assailant with a loose cable like a whip dot in the melee. Michael was hit, shielding Amanda from Brooks's bullet. "Go ... expose them," he gasped, blood pooling as he slumped. Grief fueled her rage. She grabbed the completed drive and fled with Ethan, evading pursuit through back alleys. Sirens converged as federal marshals, tipped by Dana Whitaker, arrived to secure the scene. Brooks was arrested on site, but not before spitting defiance. "The network's bigger than you. No pharma money buys silence." Back at a secure location, decrypting the drive unveiled horrors. Video footage of coerced injections, altered medical charts, and financial ledgers showing millions funneled to Hargrove's campaigns. One entry detailed contingency eliminations, accidents, like Hayes's crash, engineered to silence whistleblowers. The conspiracy deepened with a leaked internal memo from Vaughn: expand to undocumented migrants for Phase 4 less oversight. Amanda and Ethan targeted a Blackwell warehouse next, sneaking in during a shift change. Disguised as inspectors, they uncovered crates of mislabeled drugs destined for prisons across the state. A guard spotted them, triggering a chase through forklift aisles and conveyor belts. Ethan created a diversion by sabotaging a loading dock, crates tumbling like dominoes, while Amanda uploaded manifest data to a secure cloud. Escaping by scaling a fence, they evaded capture. But a sniper's shot grazed Ethan's arm. A warning from the fraternity's hired muscle. Allies emerged unexpectedly. Liam, guilt-ridden from the initial confrontation, provided alibis and hacked neighborhood cams showing fraternity vans near crime scenes. Ruth, the porch witness, rallied community support. organizing discreet meetings where survivors shared stories of lost loved ones. One woman, a former inmate, recounted her forced participation. "They said it was vitamins, but I lost my baby. After the third dose, no one believed me." These testimonies built a human mosaic of the conspiracy, strengthening their case file. But loss struck again when Janelle's husband was targeted in a hit-and-run, surviving but hospitalized, forcing her into deeper hiding. "They're picking us off," she confided over an encrypted call. "But I have one more lead: Hargrove's private server at his estate." Infiltrating the senator's gated compound required cunning. Ethan posed as a caterer for a gala, planting bugs while Amanda monitored from a van. The devices captured Hargrove boasting to donors, "Blackwell's breakthroughs will revolutionize maternal health, selective, efficient." Audio linked him to fraternity payoffs, including Caldwell's services. As they extracted, security dogs alerted, leading to a tense evasion through manicured gardens and over walls. The data confirmed Hargrove had lobbied for laws easing pharma trials on wards of the state, profiting from stock options. Pressure mounted with anonymous threats, hacked emails. Tires, but Amanda's pregnancy grounded her resolve. "This child won't inherit a world where mothers are lab rats," she told Ethan during a rare, quiet moment. Their breakthrough came via Michael's old network, a decrypted fraternity roster naming Vaughn as a silent partner. Her civil rights facade masking boardroom complicity. Confronting her indirectly through a planted informant, they gleaned her motive: "I joined to change from within, but power corrupts." Yet evidence showed her approving lethal dose increases. The climax built toward a raid on a transport convoy, carrying test batches to Ridge Point, ambushing in rural woods. Ethan and federal allies intercepted the trucks, seizing vials and manifests. Gunfire erupted. Fraternity guards defended fiercely, but superior tactics prevailed. One captured merc confessed. Langford orders the hits, keeps the operation clean. With this, indictments loomed, but not before a final assault on their safe house. Barricaded, Amanda and Ethan repelled intruders, her quick thinking with improvised traps turning the tide. As dawn broke, arrests began. The conspiracy's threads unraveling under the weight of irrefutable proof. Yet the web extended. Further, international ties to offshore labs, hinting at a global scale. Amanda, reviewing satellite images, spotted hidden facilities. "This isn't local, it's a syndicate." Ethan's research uncovered Vaughn's trips to Europe, meeting pharma execs. They alerted Interpol contacts, expanding the probe. Domestically, subpoenas flew, cracking lesser players who flipped for deals. A warden testified to coerced signatures, guards admitting payoffs. Community forums erupted, demanding audits of all prisons. Personal toll weighed heavily. Ethan's wound infected, forcing downtime. Amanda's contractions false, but frightening. Support from unexpected quarters are reformed Liam guarding their perimeter. Ruth smuggling supplies bolstered them. The drive's deepest file revealed a eradication protocol for threats, listing Hayes, Michael, and now Amanda. "We're endgame," Ethan said. Rallying, they leaked select evidence to the media, sparking national outrage. Protests swelled, forcing Hargrove's resignation amid scandal. In a climactic boardroom breach at Blackwell, disguised as auditors, they confronted Vaughn directly. "You betrayed your own," Amanda accused. Vaughn's defense crumbled. Survival demanded compromise. But recordings captured her admission, sealing her fate. Escaping a lockdown, they delivered the tape to Dana, triggering raids. As federal agents swarmed, the conspiracy's core fractured, exposing a rotten underbelly of profit-driven atrocity. The chapter closed with Amanda reflecting in a quiet park. The baby's movements a beacon. "We've uncovered the beast," she whispered. "Now to slay it." Evidence mounted, allies solidified, but dangers lingered. setting the stage for justice's reckoning. The federal courthouse in downtown Willow Creek loomed like a monolith of cold stone and tempered glass, its facade etched with the scars of past protests and the promise of impartiality that had too often rung hollow. On a crisp autumn morning, the air buzzing with the murmur of gathered crowds, activists chanting for reform, journalists scribbling notes, and families clutching photos of lost loved ones, the trial of Sergeant Ryan Caldwell commenced, marking the first domino in a cascade of reckonings that would reshape the town's fractured soul. Amanda Cole sat in the witness gallery, her posture unyielding, the weight of her advancing pregnancy a constant reminder of the stakes. Ethan Wright flanked her, his hand subtly resting on hers, a silent anchor amid the storm. The courtroom was packed, every seat occupied by a mosaic of faces. Skeptical locals, supportive allies like Ruth and Liam, and even a few former officers who'd turned whistleblowers, their badges surrendered in quiet acts of atonement. Prosecutor Dana Whitaker, sharp-eyed and unyielding, opened with a narrative that wove the personal into the systemic. "This case isn't isolated," she declared, her voice echoing off the oak-paneled walls. "It's the tip of a poisoned spear, racism wielded as policy, corruption cloaked in authority." Sergeant Caldwell didn't just assault Amanda Cole. He embodied a fraternity that preys on the vulnerable for profit and power. Defense counsel, a slick attorney named Harlan Reed, countered with a strategy of deflection, portraying Caldwell as a stressed officer reacting to perceived threats in a high-tension environment. "My client followed protocol," Reed argued, pacing dramatically. The kick from Mrs. Cole was an unprovoked escalation, but the evidence mounted like an avalanche, beginning with Ruth's unedited video footage, projected on a large screen for the jury to dissect frame by frame. Ruth took the stand first, her testimony a blend of vulnerability and steel. "I saw him shove her, heard the slurs he muttered under his breath, words meant to demean, to dehumanize. And when she defended herself, he called for backup like she was the criminal." The jury, a diverse panel including several women of color, leaned forward, notebooks in hand. Cross-examination tried to paint Ruth as biased, a nosy neighbor with an agenda, but she held firm. "Agenda. My agenda is truth. I lost a son to police violence years ago. I won't watch another life destroyed." Liam followed, his youthful face flushed with remorse. "I laughed it off at first, thought it was just cop stuff. But Caldwell threatened me, said he'd dig up my old records if I didn't back his story. I was wrong to stay silent." His admission drew murmurs. Reed grilled him on inconsistencies, but Liam's raw honesty resonated, humanizing the complicity that had allowed the fraternity to thrive. Forensic experts dissected the physical evidence. Next, a pathologist detailing Amanda's bruises with clinical precision. The impact patterns match a baton strike, delivered with force, inconsistent with restraint, more akin to punishment. DNA from Caldwell's weapon confirmed the link, with irrefutable traces of Amanda's blood on the grip. Phone records sealed. The premeditation texts from Caldwell to Brooks days prior, plotting to make an example of Amanda after rumors of her probing the clinic deaths surfaced. Amanda's testimony was the emotional core, delivered with quiet power. "I didn't kick to harm. I kicked to survive for myself, for my child. That man saw my skin, my pregnancy, as threats to his world. But I refuse to let fear define us." Reads. Cross aimed to provoke, questioning her FBI background as aggressive training. But Amanda turned it back. "Training that taught me restraint, something your client lacked." Closing arguments crystallized the divide. Whitaker evoked the broader conspiracy. This assault was a thread in a tapestry of terror, woven by the serpent gavel fraternity to silence dissent. Reed appealed to doubt. One bad day doesn't make a monster. After deliberation spanning 2 tense days, the verdict rang out. Guilty on all counts: assault, witness intimidation, civil rights violations. Caldwell's face drained of color, his bravado crumbling as handcuffs clicked into place. Sentencing followed swiftly. 28 years, no parole eligibility for 20, and a lifetime ban from law enforcement. The gallery erupted in subdued cheers, but Amanda felt no elation, only a grim satisfaction. Knowing this was merely the prelude. Parallel proceedings unfolded in the adjacent federal court for Celeste Vaughn and Blackwell Pharmaceuticals, a spectacle of corporate intrigue and fallen icons. Vaughn, once a beacon of civil rights in medicine, sat stoically in a tailored suit. Her defense team arguing entrapment and overreach. Ms. Vaughn acted under duress from entrenched powers, her lawyer claimed, but Dana dismantled it piece by piece. Janelle Price's testimony was pivotal, her voice trembling as she recounted discovering altered records. I flagged discrepancies, deaths rewritten as natural. My sister was one. Bruises on her wrists from restraints, ignored. Vaughn signed off on it all. Exhibits flooded the courtroom. Vault Delta drives projecting spreadsheets of optimized demographics. Emails authorizing dose hikes despite risks, and the micro SD card from Hayes's effects. Vaughn's voice damning. Bury the outliers. Keep thresholds low. Defense motions to suppress failed spectacularly, the judge citing overwhelming probable cause. Vaughn's own words on the stand backfired. Attempting contrition, she admitted. I compromised to infiltrate, but the system swallowed me. Cross-examination. Exposed hypocrisy. You built clinics with one hand while poisoning wombs with the other for stock options. The jury, swayed by survivor testimonies, a parade of women recounting coerced trials. Lost pregnancies deliberated briefly. Guilty, racketeering, healthcare fraud, conspiracy. Vaughn's sentence hit like thunder. 35 years. Asset forfeiture. Funding a $180 million restitution trust. As marshals led her away, she locked eyes with Amanda across the aisle. You think this changes anything? She hissed. Amanda replied softly. It changes everything for those you erased. Senator Hargrove's trial blended politics and perfidy, his charisma curdling under scrutiny. Charged with wire fraud and obstruction, he mounted a defense of denial I championed. Maternal health, these are smears. But leaked recordings from his estate server betrayed him, boasting of efficient expansions to donors. Witnesses included a former aide who flipped, detailing kickbacks from Blackwell rooted through campaigns. He knew the trials targeted minorities, called it data equity. Hargrove's testimony faltered under Dana's barrage. You amended laws to strip oversight, profiting millions while mothers died. The verdict? Guilty. Sentence? 22 years, stripped of office, pensions clawed back. Outside, supporters protested his fall, but counter-rallies drowned them, chanting for accountability. Chief. Langford's hearing exposed the rot at law enforcement's core. Indicted for conspiracy and abuse, his defense leaned on institutional pressures. Brooks, cooperating for leniency, testified remotely. Langford greenlit the hits, coordinated with the fraternity to protect Blackwell's ops. Evidence included intercepted communications ordering surveillance on Amanda. Langford's arrogance cracked on the stand. I maintained order. Dana retorted. You manufactured chaos. Guilty, 18 years, pension revoked. Brooks got 12, his testimony pivotal in linking threads. Blackwell's corporate trial, deferred via agreement, imposed oversight, a decade of federal monitors, ethical mandates, and reparations. Stocks tanked, executives fled, but the restitution fund began payouts therapy for survivors. Scholarships for orphans, reform rippled outward. Consent decrees mandated body cams, banned restraints on pregnant arrestees, and established civilian boards. The Lauren Hayes Maternal Justice Center opened, offering free care and legal aid, with Ruth volunteering as a counselor and Liam leading youth programs on bias. Protests evolved into policy workshops, communities drafting bills for prison healthcare. Transparency. Personal rebirth culminated in Amanda's labor, contractions hitting during a reform hearing. Ethan rushed her to the hospital, where Allie's gathered Dana with legal briefs for protection, Janelle with flowers. After hours of pain and perseverance, baby Miguel entered the world, his cry a triumph. Named for the fallen hero he symbolized. Renewal. Amanda held him, whispering, "You'll inherit fight, not fear." Ethan vowed, "We'll watch over this world for him." Media frenzy followed, but Amanda focused inward, advocating quietly. The Hayes Memorial Grove bloomed, a space for reflection. As Miguel grew, so did change laws passed, fraternities dismantled. Yet Amanda knew vigilance was eternal. "Justice isn't a verdict," she told the gathering. "It's a daily rebirth." The story faded not into closure, but into an ongoing legacy, a testament to resilience amid adversity.